Hey guys, what's going on? It's Andrew from AR Media. Tonight's video I want to review Suspiria on 4K HDR. Now I'm going to be reviewing the digital copy and I'm going to be picking up the Blu-ray when it comes out to compare. But what I'm going to be comparing is the HD to the 4K copy. So let's get straight into the movie. Now I was super pumped for this one as a big fan of the original 1977 Suspiria, and this one did not disappoint. Now this has a lot different of a feel than the original Suspiria, and it's much more a reimagining than a straight remake. The stories are a lot different, the plot points are a lot different, and most importantly, the look of the film is a lot different. Where the original Suspiria was known for its bright, vivid colors, this one is definitely more subdued, cold color palette. I really like this movie. The sense of dread throughout this movie was phenomenal. I thought Dakota Johnson's performance was great, along with Tilda Swinton, who has to do various roles and really plays them well. And overall, I really like the mystery of this movie and just that sense of dread. Now, this is definitely a slow burn and may not be for everybody. This has quite a long runtime at 2.5 hours, and not much happens when it comes to horror moments. There's not many jump scares, there's not many horrific scenes, but it's just that sense of dread all leading up to the finale that really paid off for me, and I think will really pay off for anybody who's a fan of art house horror similar to The Witch and Hereditary. Now let's get to the visual quality on this. So this is a 4K digital intermediate, and this was shot on film and has a nice layer of grain throughout and is not obtrusive at all. I actually found this layer of grain to be very filmic and cinematic and really nice looking. Now what this 4K transfer brought from the HD transfer is a nice increase in detail, which was immediately apparent when switching between them. Details on close-ups, on faces, on landscapes, on clothings are easily distinguishable, as well as in the dance school itself, the walls, all the wear and tear, you could easily tell the difference in the detail. Same thing with the depth. There's a lot more depth to the 4K image than the Blu-ray. Separating foreground from the background is a lot easier, and in the dance sequences, there just seems to be a lot more separation in those sequences. Now, black levels are also improved with the 4K HDR version, and I noticed no inconsistencies and deep and inky blacks throughout. Now let's get to the HDR segment on this, and that's definitely where this disc shines. So this is definitely a cold color palette, so it's not going to be bold and vibrant like the 1977 Suspiria, but the HDR does a good hand at making those colors punch a bit more, making them a bit more vivid, but more what they do to it is bringing detail and nuance to the color. So a lot of the reds that are washed out, a lot of the blues, yellows that are washed out, you can't tell much detail in the HD transfer, whereas the 4K, it's a lot easier to tell nuances in the color, different gradations in the color, and overall just detail from the color in the HDR version. Another way the HDR version really sticks out is that shadow detail. Especially as we get further and further in the film, there are a lot more darker scenes, and it makes it pretty hard to make things out, especially in that final act, and the 4K that is greatly improved, a lot easier to make out what is going on in the madness that is the final act. So now let's get to the audio quality, and this is where I'm actually disappointed because the Blu-ray has a Dolby Atmos track, but the digital 4K has a 5.1 Dolby Digital. So I really can't rate this until I hear the Dolby Atmos from the Blu-ray, which I will be getting when it comes out in a week or two, but I will say that the digital 5.1 did not disappoint. Use of surrounds was great, use of the score was great, which is a main feature in this movie, and I think that Atmos is just going to add that little bit extra, and I really wish we got it on the digital transfer. So anyway guys, I'm a huge fan of this movie. I really wish I actually saw it before my top 10 list because it may have creeped onto there. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts from any horror fans, what you guys thought of Suspiria, from non-horror fans, what you guys thought of Suspiria. Let me know down below. Let me know if you plan on picking up the 4K copy, the HD copy, and let me know what you're excited for this week. So I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm going to leave a link in the description for the Suspiria Blu-ray. Buying it with that gives me a small kickback to help me out and buy more 4Ks to review for you. So anyway guys, I hope you're having a good week and have a good one.